Yes, that's 5:15. I'd like to call the planning commission, February planning commission meeting to order to adopt to the agenda.
I'll move it be adopted as and for presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second to accept the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Accepted. Approval of the January 27th, the changes to the agenda. Okay.
Minutes? Yeah, I brought minutes from the special meeting and previous to that.
No changes to title.
It's on the
For approval of special meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the special minutes for the special meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing the chapter 8 amendment proposal.
Yeah, good evening, folks. I don't have a whole lot to say. I think you know about all the content of the plan, but this is essentially the public hearing that's required before the plan gets approved by the planning commission and ultimately gets sent to the city council. And again, we're just dealing with one chapter here, and we intend on working with the city on an update of the entire plan. So I think Dave and I tried to connect. You called me last week. I wasn't able to get it. You were gone by then, and then we didn't connect on Monday. But I had suspected that the resolution might be on the agenda here, and it's not, and that's not a big issue. You can have the public hearing, and then at your March meeting, adopt the resolution and forward that onto the city council. I think based on the schedule for the comp plan update, you may also use that March meeting as a sort of a kickoff for the entire process, which should work well. But really, I guess I will let you as the chairman, unless there's questions from the planning commissioners themselves, but opening the public hearing, see if there's any comments or questions or concerns, and if none, close the hearing, and that will be about it. So here to entertain any questions if there are any.
Anybody? Lee? Any? I don't have an agenda. I don't know. Ready for a public hearing? Yeah, I'm just here to listen. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
So I would officially open the public hearing. So go ahead.
Well, so okay, we got to open up the public hearing.
Yep.
First.
Yep.
All right, so just open up the public hearing. Comments from.
We need a motion.
You don't need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I don't think so.
No. Anybody else got anything for the public hearing?
Anybody else?
Yeah, Mayor Mark, Brandy, any comments, questions regarding the proposed Chapter 8 amendment to the comp plan?
This is Mayor Mark. I do not have any.
This is Brandy. I do not have any.
I guess I was for a motion and close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second.
Motion made in second. Public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Simple as that. Never a crowd,
Aye.
which is fine. I can get home early. If you have nothing else for me, I'll let you do the rest of your meeting and probably see you in March. So,
Thank you.
We announced that we approved the budget for that part of the.
Just to let the plan commission know. So if you guys recall, this was kind of phase 1 to the comp plan. Phase 2, the budget was approved by council in the capital projects plan. So we did let Cedar Corp know that they're on the hook for doing the rest of the comp plan for us, and that'll be the rest of the chapters for that. So that's what Eric just talked about, kicking off the next phase in March along with the resolution. So we're not done with Eric for a while yet.
no, you'll see plenty of me throughout the next year here, so that's fine. It's a nice community. I like the place, and it's not too far.
Okay, thank you.
Great, very good. Thank you. If it
Thank
comes
you.
up in the interim, give a shout out. Take care of the evening.
Thank you.
Dave, you want to take the maintenance code?
Yeah, international property maintenance code. I did read through this all, pretty much know it back and forth. There's only a couple of sections in here that I would. grass commissioner.
Weed commissioner.
So kind of on the direction we want to go, we could keep that in
Mhm.
and deal with it through the International Property Maintenance Code if we decide to.
Mhm.
And then way all the statutes and stuff would kind of be the same. And then the other one, there's an appendix in here. Say we had to do an emergency board up for a building, say it was fire damage or something. Sometimes they'll secure that building so the kids can't get in it.
Which one is that?
Under folks.
Which one are you looking
Well, there's an appendix in the back of
at?
the.
Oh,
This has a section on emergency measures, so we can put up fencing to keep people away, or we can actually board up a building that's open and accessible to the public. Consider a nuisance. There's a plan in the back, an appendix, how that board up is supposed to be done. I wouldn't necessarily recommend board up plan, just leave that off. If you decide to adopt it. Everything else in there, I think, has some use and benefit. So I would recommend, other than changing the junk or the ordinance. And whether or not we want to keep grass in there would be another section, but
does that grass kind of fall under toxic weeds? Would that be in the?
well, it's exterior property areas and it deals with, so you can put, say you want to get, say 8 inches as your trigger. If there's a place there for the municipality that adopts it, to choose what height of grass that they want to take action on. So we're all 6, 8 inches. I think it's a 10 or 12.
Ours is 12 right now.
12.
Yep.
To me, that seems a little, I mean, by that point, it's almost gone to seed.
Have you looked at that section compared to the weed commissioner ordinance
I
that we?
didn't compare the two.
Okay.
I just, stuff in here is pretty short to the point. It doesn't really go through a whole litany of stuff. It's done it. Basically, you pick a height, and then it's got the same process for junk notice as far as you would have to write a ticket or send notices, what has the other notices. It's fairly prescriptive in here, how all the stuff's done, how it's adapted. I don't know if anybody else has had time to look at it. I know it's a little cumbersome.
So the foot for grass, what it says.
This allows you to choose a height.
How do you want
Yeah, yeah. So you
it? With ours is 12.
Yep.
Choose. We adopt these rules, then what happens to our existing rules? Do they go away? This is our new Bible.
That would be my suggestion.
Because we have a lot of individuals in town that are used to what we have for ordinances. And I think this is almost like opening up Pandora's box for you. Because if you issue one citation to one person in town for something, they're gonna look across the street and they're gonna go, I want you to issue him an issue for that, and then that, and it's gonna set a chain reaction. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to keep up with the recourse that people are gonna be doing by calling and complaining about certain things when we start enforcing some of these. Because this seems to be a lot more detailed. I just think it's, I know you're familiar with it, on it, but I know a lot of residents in town know what our ordinances are currently. And it's gonna be a process to work through that. That's one of the things I see as could be an extreme issue for us. Because once we move forward, this is something that's gonna happen, and then people are gonna review it. It may open up a whole other set of issues for us.
Well, and first of all, I mean, to go through this, we would have to look at all the conflicting ordinances to remove, and that's gonna be a process. This isn't happening next month by any means,
Right.
So you'd have to look back and,
Some of it's similar. Some of the housing ordinance that they came up with.
So if we approve this, then our next step is then to go to the ordinances and either change them to go along with this, or to get it off the books. I mean, is that what the process would be?
I thought that's what we're supposed to be doing right
I
now.
thought we were
I thought we were
supposed to-
gonna
Well,
redo
that's-
this and compare what our ordinances are.
That's what I,
I guess we're going over here, and I thought we were gonna go over there.
yeah,
This would replace the nuisance
That would be,
Ordinance that we currently have.
that would be
Like I said, you,
exorbitant amount of work for you, just reading through the ones that I've read. Personally, my house isn't tall enough. For your ordinance, my house, my quad level house has been there since 76. Downstairs is not tall.
the ceiling,
Yes. Is that house was built. I don't know how I will fix it.
yeah, there's an existing building code that we have that allows for all that. So basically, the year it was built according to that year, we don't make you come in and change it.
So everybody be grandfathered in.
Any, depending on the year it was built and what the ordinance was in place at the time they built it. That's the code that we go by. So if you have a 6'8" ceiling in a bedroom, and it says 7 inch, or you just change this to 6'8", that's what's nice about this. We tweak this to read whatever you want, but the building code currently calls for, I think in Wisconsin, it's some, let's see.
Above quad level, the downstairs one, so that it's 6'4".
So there's a mechanism here not to
Check the
enforce. You can't pass an ordinance or a law and then go back on somebody. So anything existing could continue that, obviously.
And for Mr. Best's point there, I just look at swimming pools, because I have one. And right now, I do not have gates on my fences, they do not require for a gate on my steps. I don't know how that would happen, how you enforce this.
That's kind of a high hazard. I mean, that stuff's very regulated. Your insurance company.
At 54
Sure.
wall,
If it's got 42-inch sidewall, doesn't even equal.
above my steps, according to this, and I read it earlier.
Same thing, if your steps are existing, as long as they're not falling down, handrails missing, they would be ordinance. I'm not trying to create more work for myself, trust me. I want to be able to, when we do need to deal with properties, that we have a mechanism to do it. And as of right now, like on, I've got a couple of blighted properties. It's kind of a stretch to kind of take care of them, and they were definitely unsafe for somebody living in. So
I agree with the going through the blighted property thing, our ordinance is there. Because I agree that there's some that need work on, and you need some sort of backbone, but unless we can go through this compared to what we have now, which is what I thought we were doing today, it's gonna be really hard to just take one, throw it out and then pass this, and then which one you go by it, so it's gonna take us time to go through them. And
we probably should do a side by side, but I thought the group kind of unneeded most of the legwork of the kind of finished product.
Yeah, I did a lot of reading, so I would like to go, that's what you're gonna adopt, I would like to go through both and say, half these meetings only take 15 minutes, with another 20 minutes of us talking about this.
Especially areas that you want to change. It should be.
It's kind of what he
Side
told
by
us, he
side
told us what one
comparison,
to
so-
read, right? So that's why we should go through.
I would kind of like, he's more the expert on it. Go through it and then come back and let us. Speak some stuff.
Well, I'll look over the other two ordinances, and I've read them. And then two, this deals with, some say you got a person living in a rental property. As of right now, they can call me up, hey, the landlord, I got a whole issue, or I got, a whole or something. This and the other document you have allows me to go into that unit and do that stuff. This one's just a, let's see, more comprehensive, but it has a little more tools to do that kind of thing. I don't think it's, the trash and the grass, they are what they are. I mean, we adopt this kind of tailor that we currently have, or we say 12 inches is a little high. Dropped down to 8 or 10. I'll look at the other two, kind of compare them in here and see what's in there that we might want to keep if we decide to do that. And then maybe there's something here we want to cross off. Except if you read something, don't like it, please bring it up to the And you might not want to.
I don't want to micromanage.
Because this talks about screens on the windows. I don't have time for a check to see if someone's got, if they got a wide open window, supposed to have a screen. Is that something we want to regulate? Probably not.
That's where,
So something like that.
if you adopt that, and you give somebody a citation, they're gonna take the time, and then they're gonna set 100 of those on your desk, and go, I want these people cited.
It's not even at the end of the citation. You get two neighbors that don't like each other, and I open up my back patio and put a screen on it.
You're gonna get that anyway, but even if we start enforcing what we have a little bit more, we're still gonna run this. I've already had it happen every time I send someone a notice, well, there's 3 houses within 2 miles.
That's not very quick. You guys got garbage all on the curb and then it's picked up, the guy's lawn isn't short enough, you're gonna get that, oh, you're never stop that.
I would like to, I just think there's gotta be a way, an organized way that we look at this and look at our ordinances, compare, and then either change this to, so that it matches what I need help here. I'm trying to, I'd like to make this good for you to do your job, but yet I don't think I have the tools to make some of these decisions. And yet I hear what I agree with what I think we need a little more direction. Like, direction, is that what?
Yeah, like I said, you drive around, and I see this stuff because I've done code enforcement that's my background. Someone else is gonna drive around it, whatever, their place, they can do whatever they want. So it's kind of the opinion, that kind of the direction the city wants to go. I kind of had the impression they kind of want to clean up some of the areas that, there's some rough places around town.
So are you saying that you just want to look at the areas of in here that deal with unsightly houses, lawns?
Right, we were supposed to read
Yes.
108 through 112.
Yes.
Yep, that's what
Yeah.
we're supposed to do.
And so,
So I don't know if anybody, if everybody had time.
oh, yeah, we did.
My opinion of this whole thing is, it gets teeth into some of the ordinances that got to be enforced. That was one of my main objectives I thought with this was to get some teeth in ordinances that get enforced.
And mine was to make his job as easy, not as easy, but, that he can accomplish his goals that he needs to do without interrupting the whole town.
And I agree with this. Just to see if we're gonna pass this right now, send it out of council.
I don't think that was the intent of passing this.
This is months of,
Yeah.
even if things kind of move in the right direction, it's gonna take a while.
I think what we're talking about doing the homework, taking the section.
Yeah. So we did that. So let's talk about that now then, as to what you asked us to look at, right? I mean,
Yeah. So, section 108, it's, unsafe structures. Basically, you don't want to have anything that's considered a nuisance.
so what would you see on this as problematic that would cause
I
you?
don't see anything
Okay,
in this section.
okay. Did anybody else see a concern?
Maybe on a vacant property, unless it's in really rough shape. Maybe we don't. Put a condemnation sticker. I don't think that's necessary.
And where-
Closing a vacant
Yeah,
structure.
okay.
So unless the building's just falling down around itself, say it's been vacant for 10 years, the roof's starting to cave in. We had a house, Hancock. That was vacant. People next door, the house had a huge hole. I actually had them tear it down. But just the fact that it was vacant, you might not want that section in there, maybe just ones that are, let's say, for dangerous.
What number are you looking at right now?
8.2, it's on
Seven.
page 5.
So in that particular
Sounds
case,
like it would be a blind, having a house next door with a hole in the ground.
Yeah, it was, and the garage had fallen down like 2 years before that. That was just made a heap in the backyard. So
And are we more liable if we don't?
well, I don't think you'd want to open it accessible. I think if it had openings where people could just walk in, I would think we'd want to maybe, there's a section in here on new products. So you send. We didn't used to give notice of Lansing because we have a couple of weeks. Here we might want to get 3 or 5 day notice to get their property secured, send them a notice. And then give 3 to 5 days or something. And if they didn't, there's a mechanism here to abate it where you'd actually board it up, send them a bill.
So currently now, if you have an issue with the house, or a hole in the roof, or issues with the house, what do you do now?
I use the housing code that we currently have and some of the building code, because the building code says you have to maintain your structure. So I did end up placarding it, even though the UDC, the residential code doesn't really have a lot of provisions.
So how would what this is change what you did?
This has some teeth in it where it could legally go. for the-
I noticed on here, it talks about penalties, like penalty provided by this code. What is the penalty now and what is this? How does that?
We can, it will issue a civil infraction ticket now. I don't know what the fee is. I don't think it's very much. We need to keep that up a little bit. We can abate them legally here, although I don't think we've done it a lot, so I don't know if you want to start doing that until you give us some kind of notice. Same with grass, we do abate that here. Get them built. Junk would be another one, and that could be a little bigger, because you could get it some sizable. You would clean up. Because you'll have a company come in, probably some type of city
We've
service.
done that for Paul before. That's what I mean, I don't know how this gives you any more teeth if you already have the rules that you need.
This is just a little more comprehensive, kind of covers the whole gamut of junk, blade, grass, how to deal with properties. It's got language in here, so you did have a rental property. You can use some tools in here, tools, hey, the electrical system got some deficiencies. Thing is, we need tools, tell me you need to do it.
And what you're only using now don't have it.
I think some of that's in the holding code.
Yeah, I would think it's an electrical issue.
Some of it's there. It's not quite as comprehensive. Like I said, at the end of the day, we don't have to adopt this. I just thought it was.
Well, I want to certainly use the stuff that is, I want to use the stuff that's
Yeah,
good for
yeah,
sure. But
Yeah.
I
to
agree.
change it 100% would be,
Well, I think I think what I'm thinking is that how many times do we have different people that come in and we have to change something with the fences that they want to put up? I mean, and so then we're saying, okay, well, we're gonna give you a variant to do that fence, and I would like our fence thing to be so that you have something to say, this is what we do, that it doesn't have to come to us, that we have to make those decisions where, oh no, you can't have that fence, but your neighbor down the road can. I don't like that, you know, that where we're giving variants on different fences. You know.
This wouldn't cover that, because more of a zoning issue.
And I
You could
understand
change
that,
that
but what
in
I'm
zoning
saying is that
ordinance.
these
Yeah.
ordinances, I don't like that we're changing or that we're giving someone exceptions, because I think those exceptions can come back and bite us.
but sometimes they do make sense too, right?
Well, they do, but then I think we go back and then we change whatever we did. Is it the ordinance? Is it this? You know, something. so
Yeah,
that
and
we
I
don't-
agree, but like if you read through this thing, I mean, it goes right to a lot of stuff. It's like, it has to be 32 inches.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know that ours reads like that.
Right,
And is that good or bad? I guess I don't know.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can go around with a tape measure and measure every handrail in a house, you know, and I don't know how that works, but
I'm trying to make his job easier and not, and yet all of us easier, you know, I mean, that's what my intent of this is.
So I had a house over in, is a border hill. And the neighbor called, this back deck is completely collapsed. So technically by code, when you walk out your back door, you're supposed to have at least a 3-foot landing there. You don't have to have a deck, obviously. So I don't know how I would currently send him a notice to fix his deck. And then obviously you have to be up to new code. It would have to have a 36-inch handrail or guardrail. I don't know if it goes over 24 inches off grade. So, this ordinance here kind of deals mostly with junk. It's stuff that's allowed to like decay or not be maintained. It's kind of a minimum standard. So you don't necessarily drive down the street and every house looks brand new. It's kind of a minimum standard. So half the shingles are missing from the roof. It's got a trigger to say, hey, it's time to fix your roof. Or the same thing, front porch is falling down, or when the supports is damaged, could injure somebody. Steps are deteriorated. It kind of covers all the bases in kind of a not too prescriptive way, but to say, hey, those need to be brought up to code. So it's mostly to deal with properties that are not kept up to kind of a minimum standard. Yeah, a bunch of junky houses.
I do agree if we get too picky, then you're gonna open up. And I don't think that's what you should be after.
No, I agree. Instead of just for, like talking about the streets, for instance, last thing I need to do is be driving around town, tell people got to put streets in the windows.
So if there's a house right over here, Killing Street, that isn't, shouldn't be, but. So if there's a house like that, what do you do currently now?
I think our housing code would relate to that, but I don't know how prescriptive it is. To be honest, I haven't been in it a lot. I did use it on the ones that the police department. And I have been to that house. I know what we're talking about. But I think there was a lady that lived there. That paid for her house. So this here would deal with that. I'm not saying that we have get to the same spot, but.
But what would you do? What would, like, okay, so you go to that house tomorrow on McKinley Street. I don't even know what house you're referring to, but so what would you do tomorrow that this would help you to accomplish as compared to the housing, whatever did before?
So say the house is got a 2-foot hole in the roof.
It's junk,
Busted windows, the siding.
right?
So if you go out and take some pictures, you send a notice to the registered taxpayer.
Okay.
So you've got 30 days to make it safe.
Okay.
And then you list the deficiencies, hole in the roof.
Okay.
Permits are required to.
Okay.
And go through that list, and then you give them a time frame. Say it's 30 days. If anybody calls, they've got a vested interest in the property, hey, dealing with cancer or whatever.
Mhm.
We're gonna work with them on a
Right.
time frame to get it fixed, assuming they're gonna do it. If we don't hear from anybody, we send them what's called a fair to comply letter. Right, give them another 30 days, talk about some of the penalties, get abate it. We'll do a raise order on it. They have it demolished if we have to.
So that's with our existing housing code.
I don't think it gets that prescriptive, but I can look, like I said, I'm
So
a little
how would
guilty of
this-
not knowing everything's in your housing code.
So how would this help then?
This has all that stuff in it.
Like what? Just what you just said?
Exactly what I said.
All right,
And the law that backs it up,
okay,
and then how much the tickets are, in fact, you can abate it, how you can bill for the abatement. It's like I said, it's pretty prescriptive. And it's set up for the kind of a minimum standard in the city.
so I think that's what we need to look at, right? I mean, how it compares to what we already have, to what we wanted to go to.
So if we're gonna clean up, so the other 2 documents, we could probably amend those 2, if we decided we want to go that route. But ultimately, it kind of end up sort of looking like this anyway. And then
So
you
it's
can
not actually that we're gonna adopt this entire thing. This is kind of like a model.
Yep.
And then we're gonna, okay,
take out what you don't like, and then like I said, if you don't like the way, so this has got like rubbish in here. That's in the book we're looking at today. I've been doing this long enough where it's not really prescriptive enough. It doesn't talk about tires, you know, which is obviously something you don't want to push them away from.
There's a lot that's not covered.
So I would suggest tweaking that and then talk about maybe it's gotta be in a completely enclosed structure. Some kind, if it's gonna be stored outdoors or not outdoors, stored on the property. So other than garbage, say they did have a bunch of junk, they could put inside the garage as long as the neighbors there, have to look at it or anybody right by the house. I've got a house from here, just a couple blocks up on Channel.
I know.
It's got trash bags out there all the time. And, you know, our current owners, obviously, we can send that to them, but the front porch is falling off. That can be done here.
Cars parked in the yard.
Yeah. and-
I don't know if that's an issue.
Well, that you might want to do through zoning.
I can believe it, the front porch is falling off, that's got to be covered under our current.
It is.
That is, that's what I'm confused about. If you just want to throw in some of these words in here, like pick your tires up, you know, somewhere where the rubbish part of it is, whatever is missing that. And if you do take this thing, are you getting something more than this, like a computer program that you're wanting? Is that what
That
the biggest
computer
deal is?
program I'm getting is set up to deal with property maintenance code already. So it's got language in there. So say we talked about that house. I can go through and there has dialogue boxes. So I just, you know, for whole room, I just have to, you know, populate that with code section. And same thing, they grass, trash, all that stuff.
But that wording is all off of this thing.
Well, we'll kind of put some of that in there. So say we tweak something, we go in and tweak those languages. But it also does all your template letters. So it'll actually say we decided to do grass. It'll print off a grass letter. It'll populate the field in order.
You're getting that now? I mean, that's,
I am getting that.
so see, so that makes a difference, right? So,
Yeah.
to me, anyway. If
It is.
you're getting a program, then you gotta tweak something. If you're getting that thing, something's gotta be tweaked, because it ain't gonna work with us.
So how do we tweak an ordinance then?
What I'm thinking is we're gonna have to, and this is gonna be a lot of work, we're gonna have to go through this thing, and then you're gonna have to go through our current. And then, like these guys are saying, what's different, and then what does this have, and identify it that we're missing in the current, because we're gonna have to do this anyway, we're gonna have to figure out
Yep.
what's related.
It's gonna be-
So we might as well do this up front. Figure out, you know, that this verbiage is like this verbiage, we like this better. This verbiage is like this verbiage, we like this better, you know. We're gonna have to kind of go through that anyway, before we pass it.
Well, and we also have to lean on him for what he's experiencing out in the field, finding, you know, where he is limited to take care of what the need really is.
Yep.
Because I have a house in my backyard that I can tell you all kinds of garbage that's not in,
Yep.
you know.
So we're gonna have to go through and side by side, you know,
I-
this,
I
that's
can
it.
do that.
Yep. And that's gonna have to be the first, what's that?
Send my spare time.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's the only way that
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be able to visualize what's different. And then, you know, like, you know, Dave and what Jay was saying, we look at something and like, wait a minute, that's, you know, that's a little too heavy for what we want to do.
There's authority to disconnect utilities in here, so. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many people have to look at all this stuff. That's basically if I see something unsafe, so say. The weatherhead is torn away from the house. So potentially it could fall. It allows me to call him up. Say, hey,
Utilities are right.
this is authority.
What number is
So
that?
that's in here,
What
that's
number is that?
108.
2.1, right underneath what we were just talking about. what I was gonna say. Some of that utility stuff is already covered in what your policies are.
Through the Public Service Commission. You can disconnect it.
Right.
So we can just,
Multiple rules when it comes to water service leaks. So say, there's ownership of the curb stop, so we own up to the shut off, after the shut off is the homeowner's responsibility. So if the homeowner has a leak on their service, and we deem it to be unsafe, where it could cause damage or something, sidewalk could cave in, we can immediately shut that off, and make that a responsibility. So I don't necessarily feel we need ordinances for some of those things that would be like that.
correct.
No, but I would be able to call you up and say, hey, I don't think you're- and then you can do it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that anyway.
Right now.
So we did that, if there was tampering, we just called service. Okay. If you have that, obviously. Maybe we would need that in here. That's the kind of stuff, there may be something here that,
Because we already have a theft ordinance, that I use.
and the fact that I placarded for you now, that would be something. Carry over. Imminent danger, kind of the same thing. Get a building. Could collapse. That's covered in here. Got temporary safeguards, say you had to put some fencing around it. Say you did have a fire and you got a building that's not down yet, so it's unsafe, so it allows you to have that secured. Assuming the fire department can do that too, but
I don't know.
like I said, it's kind of hit or miss if someone's over there, do something like that, so maybe somebody have to do, not the fire, I'm just talking about after the fact, once the fire's out. See, the building's gonna have to come down by the time you need people, you'll have to get it boarded or at least secured, so. See, that's in that section. It's got a section on demolition. There's probably ways with the ordinances you have to kind of navigate to get to this. But this is right here that you adopted. So, what kind of noise you have, what placarding you have.
The next section there talks about being appeal.
Appeal.
So the board, we got a board of appeal now, I guess. So, to that effect.
We should have a building board of appeals probably. So any action the city takes on anybody, even a grass notice, there should be a means of appeal. You can appeal any decision that the city makes.
Well, this
That's
kind of,
negatively.
it says it exactly what it needs to be, so are you gonna have to make another board? If you don't have one.
Or change the language in there for what we currently use.
There's a Board of Zoning Appeals. I can't remember when the last time that's been called to order, but there's a Board of Zoning Appeals that are,
Is it council members that make that up, or is that just people that, if it's needed, that you call together, or?
it's Terry Dorschner, Joyce Hoffman, Robin Johnson, Mary Schubert, and Bob Witsatsky, W-I-T.
Robin Johnson lives here anymore.
The last time that I talked to them to confirm that they still wanted to stay on the board, they couldn't even remember the last time that they assembled.
You'll get some of it, but not a lot. Most of the stuff's kind of cut and dried.
Was that?
I mean, you really are dealing something, grass is 8 inches, I mean, I guess you could. But so even with what we currently have, there's probably some language there about, you know, that if there isn't, there should be. So we have to look at it to make sure that's in there. And then obviously you're gonna change this to match up with what you're. Pardon?
It'll probably go to court. I know when, tried to get the house up there by the Franklin apartment. Right up the west side of it. Put the court lights back up. I would think first it would come to a board of appeals here to see if they can make a deal with the city. And then it goes to court.
We'd have to look at our current ordinance to
Yeah, we
see what
need
it,
to probably change
the
this,
process.
Either change our ordinance to match some of this or change this to match. And some of that, we'll talk to the city attorney when he's sit down with it too.
I think that fall, I will fall on a couple of factors to the city attorney property. Enforce them for some of the ordinances that we have. We'll have to have a couple of things.
So that part pretty prescriptive, so obviously the appeal section, we have to go over and see what the city attorney would recommend, kind of tweak that. Staff work order. Currently, the UDC on residential properties, they're out there, say they're building a house without a permit. They don't have a provision for a staff work order, which I'm shocked at, but they don't. They are talking seriously about getting rid of the UDC code, which is the Uniform Dwelling Code for single family duplexes that we currently use in the city, to switch it over to the International Residential Code, which is another I code just like this. So the guy was at the meeting today said they're seriously looking at us, because we're the only state that currently uses that code. Everybody else uses some form of international codes. And this code also gives the ability to look at all the other international codes, which we've already adopted. I think 5 of them right now. Fire code, existing building code, fire code, and I think there's another one. I think it's energy code. So for a stop work order, this would give us some teeth to, kind of stop the project till they get in here, get the permits pulled. So there's some language in here for that too. Did anybody else have any comments on 1.8 through 1.12?
Agenda itself, 68 pages. We have something that we should have right now. It's 68 pages. So what are these?
Oh, hold the print off. Like, look at right now.
To compare.
Yeah, I had printed off for everybody. If you need, I thought I got. Do you need one?
I got the international, whatever, the 2015 one, but our city right now, do we have this?
It's on the website.
Okay.
Yep.
You have to go.
Building inspector.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
For the Department of Municipal Code.
It's 10 and 15 are the two.
Tim, remember when we talked about all the municipal code chapters? It's on that one page with all these chapters.
Gotcha, thank you.
So right here.
All right, well, I'll try to do that by the next meeting, so at least we know if we still want to pursue this, because like I said, everybody knows, everybody's busy here. Last thing I want to do is spend 3-4 months on this, work on it, decide that's something. I'll try to look at the other 2 codes that we have that we're hoping to reconcile with this. And maybe once we get that figured out, we said, okay, we're definitely gonna move in this direction. Then we'll decide what in those 2 that we want to maybe keep and incorporate into this, and then kind of work through, get rid of some of the stuff out of here that we don't want to do.
I'm just gonna throw something out here. Is it better for us, instead of saying that we're gonna adopt this, that we use this as a model and change our ordinances?
That's what I'm.
Oh, okay, because now I was not
I'd like to
under
get
that
rid of 10 and
understanding. I
15.
thought you wanted us to go through this and say, well, I don't like this, and I don't like this because you wanted us to adopt this as our,
I think we're gonna adopt this and do what you said. We're gonna get rid of the stuff out of here though. So if you adopt this, you can do it with amendments. You just go through, like I said, no, we don't like this section, that's going.
I think I would rather use this as a model and redo our, and maybe amend or change the wording in some of our ordinances. That way, then all our ordinances stay the same with just the wording, maybe picking the wording from here. I think it might be.
So a little bit like this with what we currently have.
Oh,
As I said, they're kind of similar.
That's why we got to go through and match those.
Do you want us to look through any other sections now for next time, or should we just
Let-
wait
let
for
me
you
look
to
at the
come?
other code first. I'll
Okay.
see what's in there
That sounds
that's
good.
different from this, and then maybe what mirrors this. And then I guess we'll have a little better idea if we want to.
Let's start with the two sections we talked about and match those up.
Okay.
Because I mean, this is a big elephant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chews to this elephant, so
And I
let's start
don't
with
know
that.
if we all were on the same page either, as to what we were, what our focus or where we were gonna go
Yep.
with this. So.
Okay. Update on planning commission. Anything you got, Dave? Comprehensive plan, you'll be here again next month.
Yep, we'll have to do the resolution that the commission will approve to send that to council to approve the amendment to the comp plan. And then continue discussion on this, whatever else comes up.
Anybody else got anything else?
There was something happened at Blackmore Trail.
Something happened.
It's not gone through or some rumbling there.
We're gonna give an update to the Parks and Rec Commission committee meeting next week. So there's a challenge engineers to come up with. So just found that out.
Heard about it, I just wanted.
How'd you find out about that? You'll have to tell me how you found out about that. So, yep. So, yes, that's on the Park and Rec agenda for next
Okay.
week.
Thank you. Do we have to have another public hearing for chapter 8? Comprehensive plan. I know some were required to. This wasn't one of them.
Tonight was your public hearing.
Yeah,
For
do
that.
we have to have 2 though?
No.
Oh, okay. So at the next meeting, probably draft the resolution.
You're gonna bring back the resolution, yes. Yep. And that resolution is recommending to the council to adopt the ordinance change for the amendment. That's what the resolution is all about.
Okay, review our next meeting date.
Fourth Thursday will be 24th.
24th, work for everybody?
Mhm.
Meeting on the 24th. Motion. Got anything else? For a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thanks all.
Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.